If you want to listen to a certain OST in the next video, just go ahead and let me know. In the last video, someone mentioned Beast Gohan, so that's what we're going with today. But we're talking about what could potentially be the Part 2 LR for Android 21. And out of all the options I pulled up here are not only, I feel, legitimate options, but each one of them are actually pretty exciting in their own right. So I feel like no matter what actually ends up dropping for Part 2, will definitely be very, very, very exciting. Let me know what you want to see for Part 2. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for love and support on the channel. Feel free to like or subscribe. And even if you don't, I still appreciate you for being here. Let's move into the video. So I'm just going to go with what I feel is the most obvious and then just slowly, go down the line, right? So we have Android 21. I do feel like the Part 2 LR could actually be another 21. But we have her good form here, and then a transformed state into her evil form. Now, I know that this already exists with the STR21, but I feel like she can definitely, even with her EZA, right, she can definitely be easily replaced, and it'll be a great link-up and a great partner. Because I feel like Android 21 and the Androids team and the Majin Power team or even Peppy Gal's team can definitely use a really, really good partner. So I think that, this is honestly legitimately an option. Probably won't happen. Like, I don't remember the last time I dropped a certain unit for Part 1 and the same unit for Part 2, right? But I feel like it's definitely a possibility. So that's why I went ahead and mentioned it. Now, when it comes to Android 21 Celebration, we do know that the physical androids are getting their EZA, which means that Cell Saga is on the table for the Part 2. They're definitely looking at, they're buffing androids, not just crossover, right? So Android / Cell Saga is definitely on the table, which makes me think that Part 2 could definitely be a Jiro of some kind. We do know that Jiro is the one who bagged 21. He did not fumble that bag. I respect him for that. And, it would make sense if we got a Jiro for Part 2. Now, it could be a Jiro that switches into Android 19. If that's, I don't know how that would work. Because ultimately, you'd want that character to link up with this character, right? But yeah, I think Dr. Jiro is a genuine possibility. And whether it's a switch with Android 19 or Dr. Jiro and 19 or just a standalone Jiro or maybe even Jiro and Android 16. Remember that Android, and again, I'm having trouble speaking and breathing because allergies and all that, so please ignore that. But when it comes to Android 16 is the son of 21. So we could get a Dr. Jiro standalone, Dr. Jiro and Android 19. Dr. Jiro switches, like a switch character into 19, which would be a completely different named character, right? Or Dr. Jiro and 16, or a standalone. That's like 5 different LR options right there, right? But Android 16, whether it's with Jiro or by himself, is definitely, again, a genuine possibility. And I feel like Android 16 could definitely, he doesn't even have his own standalone LR. The only version of Android 16 that's actually an LR is from the physical androids here. That's really it. I feel like he can definitely use his own standalone LR. He could be extremely tanky, and maybe he won't even be limited to having, I don't know, a freaking Gohan on the team. So, I don't know. I feel like with one of those options with Jiro or 19 or standalone Jiro or Jiro and 16 or standalone 16 are definitely one of the more, not popular options, but definitely more likely options over everything, right? Moving on, though, we do have Dr. Hedo or Hedo. Now, he is the grandson of 21. This is the family tree here, by the way. So we have Jiro and 19. We have 16 son. He also had another kid who got with someone else who had Dr. Hedo. So Dr. Hedo here, or Hedo, however you want to call him, is the grandson. Which means that, and also remember that superhero has to get buffed at some point, right? We need a standalone Beast Gohan. He has to be coming soon. So why not buff superhero now with a Dr. Hedo, right? Remember that Dr. Hedo is also the one responsible for the Gammas. Now, personally, I'd love for the Gammas to come during the Hero celebration. But if they wanted to drop an LR, you know, like, I don't know if it's a Switch or an LR, you know, joined forces, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, would be extremely sick, in my opinion. And for those that say, you know what, I don't want to see that now. I feel like that should be a Dokkan Fest LR. Well, hear me out. What if they did an LR, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 now? And then during the celebration, during the next big hero celebration or superhero celebration, they do a Gamma 1 exchange. Not switch, but exchange. I meant to say exchange when I said switch, but exchange into Gamma 2. So you'd have Gamma 1 as a primary fighter, and then Gamma 2 comes in as like an active skill or just an actual switch, and then he builds, or maybe even like a standby mode, where he literally comes in and does that big attack that he ends up sacrificing himself for, right? That could, so you would have two Gamma LRs, right, that can link up with each other, because one is a Joined Forces character, and the other one is also Joined Forces, but the name implies an exchange rather than an in-card team-up, if that makes sense. So, that's definitely a possibility, right? We got more Android 21 lore with the superhero movie, so I don't think it's really a coincidence that Android 21 is a Dokkan Fest, right? Because I feel like it could be building up the superhero. So the Part 2 LR could be Hedo, or what he's responsible for, aka the Gammas, or Cell Max. I didn't mean to pull out Cell Max there, but it could be Cell Max. I doubt that Cell Max will be the Part 2 LR. I highly, highly, highly doubt it. We could also get a Magenta that, you know, clicks the button and brings out Cell Max for a few turns, right? Keep in mind that Legends has that, a Magenta card. I think it's a green Magenta, that once that character gets killed, then Cell Max comes out and deals a little bit of damage, right? So we could have a Magenta / Cell Max card in the game where it kind of works similar to the physical androids, where the main card, let's say, is Magenta with another character, maybe Magenta and Dr. Hedo, I don't really know how, or maybe even Magenta and the Gammas, right? And then for maybe 3 turns only, you get Cell Max popping out, right? When HP's under a certain amount, or we've taken X amount of hits, something like that, right? That's definitely a possibility as well. And then remember that since Jiro is a possibility, the creations of Jiro are also a possibility, which means Android 17, Android 18, or Cell. I doubt Cell would come in a celebration like this, but again, it's definitely a possibility, whether it's first form Cell, or second form Cell, or perfect Cell. These are all legitimate possibilities. Cell would be hype. Cell Max would be extremely hype. Gammas would be hype. Dr. Hedo, in my opinion, more superhero builds would be definitely hype. Android 16, a standalone LR for the first time in the game, that's hype to me. Jiro, and maybe Jiro by himself wouldn't be too hype, but I feel like a Jiro and 19 would be hype. A Jiro and 16 would be hype, only because Jiro doesn't really have an LR, right? Like, we're giving more representation to a character who I feel like deserves it, right? I feel like Jiro played a really big part in Dragon Ball Z. And then, of course, what's it called here? This would also be hype, like an LR proper transforming 21. Just more buffs for crossover. So let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. And please. And peace. Not please. You know what? Yeah, please take care of yourself. I appreciate you for watching. And peace out.